and Redundancy by Stracener. Modern dive computers can give us a wealth of information, but what if yours fails? Equipment redundancy, or having a backup, can help you know your true circumstances and prevent an injury or dangerous situation. My buddies and I were on a dive boat with several groups of divers who were planning to dive a reef. I was diving with enriched-air nitrox containing 32% oxygen, that's EAN32, and planned to dive to 32 meters with 2 other divers. My primary computer was air integrated, which means that it was connected to the high pressure hose and in a console, but it was several years old. I began the dive as usual and descended slowly while routinely monitoring my gauges to keep track of depth and remaining gas. But as I neared the maximum operating depth, or MOD, I began to check my depth more frequently and noticed that it didn't show a descent. In fact, on one of my routine checks, I noticed that the depth display on my computer had not changed, but the water around me was considerably darker. I stopped the descent to check the computer more carefully. To my surprise, the display dimmed, flashed on and off several times, and then died completely. It quickly became apparent that the computer had flooded and was shooting a small stream of bubbles from the case. Fortunately, I always carry an analog submersible pressure gauge and a backup risk dive computer when I dive. And this incident showed me precisely why redundancy is critical for these pieces of dive gear. Because of the extra equipment I had with me, I was able to quickly check my risk computer and determine that I was slightly below my working depth of 110 feet or 32 meters, but still inside the 130 foot MOD for enriched-air nitrox 32 when my console computer failed. The analog submersible pressure gauge showed plenty of gas using the rule of thirds. After I notified my buddies, I ascended to join a 60-foot or 18-meter group of divers from the same boat and had a normal 45-minute dive on a beautiful reef. Afterwards, divers aboard the boat had a serious discussion about what could have happened in this situation to a new diver with limited experience using only a single air-integrated computer system. The consensus was that new divers might not even be aware of the hazard or the easy solution. This experience is a great example of having the proper equipment for planned dives and being prepared with appropriate emergency procedures in case of equipment failure. Dive computers can and will fail, and divers should plan for an inevitable failure. With air-integrated computers, it is especially important to also carry an analog SPG. Because I also had a redundant dive computer, I was able to continue diving and avoid staying out of the water for 24 hours so that I could revert back to dive tables. I was able to keep myself safe while maximizing my time in the water. The bottom line? Stay prepared. So always consider, what if, before a dive, and have a backup plan. Any and all computers or other dive equipment can fail, and you'll be better able to handle a situation if you've rehearsed the emergency plan, rather than trying to figure it out in the moment. Opt for redundancy when possible. Both traditional and air-integrated computers can fail, usually at depth and without warning. A backup submersible pressure gauge and computer can save a dive trip and keep you safe in an emergency situation. So know your equipment. Study your equipment's manual and learn the information it contains. know how to interpret the computer display, and download to your phone a PDF copy of your dive computer owner's manual. Most manufacturers provide these files for free on their websites, so when you cannot figure out how to operate the computer while sitting on a dive boat, having access to the manual can really save a dive and help avoid accidents.